वो जेको असांजो सेक्शन 86 offences requiring a particular intent or knowledge committed by one who is intoxicated. In cases where an act done is not an offences unless done with a particular knowledge or intent, a person who does the act in a state of intoxication shall be liable to be dealt with as if he had the same knowledge as he would have had if he had not been intoxicated, unless the thing which intoxicated him was administered to him without his knowledge or against his will. 87. Sections act not intended and not known to be likely to cause a death or grievous hurt done by consent. Nothing which is not intended to cause a death or grievous hurt and which is not known by the order to be likely to cause a death or grievous hurt is an offence by reasons of any harm which it may be caused or be intended by the order to cause no to any person above the 18 years of age who has given consent, whether express or implied, to suffer that harm by reasons of any harm which it may be known by the doer to be likely to cause to any such a person who has consented to take the risk of that harm. उन खां पोइ जेको असांजो ही जेकी इलिस्ट्रेशन्स आहे ज़रूरु पढ़जो छो त इहे MCQs गेट में बि ईंदा आहिनि. ही चए थो A and Z agree to fence with each other for the amusement and this agreement implies the consent of each to suffer any harm which in the course of such a fencing may be caused without full play, and if A while playing fairly hurts that A committed no offences. 88 जेको PPC जो सेक्शन आहे, act not intend to cause a death done by consent in good faith for person the benefited. Nothing which is not intended to cause a death is an offences by reason of any harm which it may be caused, be intended by the doer to cause or be known by the doer to be likely to cause, or to any person for whose benefit it is done in good faith and who has given a consent, whether express or implied, to suffer that harm, to take the risk of that harm. Illustrations इहा आहे, मिसाल तौरु चए थो जेकॾहिं A हिकु सर्जन आहे, surgeon knowing that particular operation is likely to cause the death of Z who suffers under the painful complaint but not intending to cause death, cause Z's death and intending in good faith Z's benefit and performs that operation on Z with Z's consent, A has committed no offences. उन खां पोइ जेको असांजो सेक्शन शुरू थो थिए, सेक्शन नंबर 99 आहे, एक्ट डन इन गुड फेथ for benefit of child or insane person by or by consent of guardian. Nothing which is done in good faith for the benefit of person under the 12 years of age or of unsound mind by or by consent either express or implied of the guardians or other person having lawful charge of that person is an offence by reasons of any harm which it may be caused or be intended by the order to cause or be known by the order by doer to the likely to cause to that person. उन खां पोइ हिन में जेको आहे कुझु असांजा प्रोविज़ो आहिनि. मिसाल तौरु फर्स्टली that this exception shall not extend to the intentional causing of death or to the attempting to cause a death. Secondly, that this exception shall not extend to the doing of anything which the person doing it knows to be likely to cause a death for any purpose other than the preventing of the death or grievous hurt or curing of any grievous disease or infirmity. Thirdly, that this exception shall not extend to the voluntarily causing of grievous hurt or to the attempting to cause a grievous hurt unless it be for the purpose of preventing death or grievous hurt, the curing of any grievous disease or infirmity. Fourthly, that this exception shall not extend to the abatement of any offences to the committing of which offences it would be not extend. Misal to A in a good faith for his child benefit without his child concerned has his child cut for the stone by a surgeon, knowing it to be likely that the operation will cause the child death, but not intend to cause the child's death. A is within the exception in as much as his objective was the cure of the child. 90 section जो PPC जो consent don't to be given under fear or misconceptions. A consent is not such a consent as an intent by any sections of this code. If the consent is given by a person under a fear of injury or under the misconception of fact, and if the person doing the acts known or has reason to believe that the consent was given in consequences of such a fear or misconceptions of consent of insane person. If the consent is given by a person whom from the unsoundness of mind or intoxication is unable to understand the nature and consequence of that to be, he gives his consent of child, unless the contrary appears from the context. If the consent is given by a person who is under the 12 years of age, exclusions of acts which are offences independently of haram call. The exception in section 87, 88 and 99 don't extend to acts which are offences independently of any haram which they may cause or may intend to cause to be known to be likely to cause to the person giving the consent on whose behalf the consent is given. Illustration में इनमें यह बुधाई भैया the causing a miscarriage unless caused in good faith for the purpose of saving the life of the woman is an offences independently of any harm which it may cause or be intended to cause to the woman. Therefore, it is not an offence by reasons of such a harm, and the consent of the woman or of her guardian to the causing of such a miscarriage does not justify the act. उन 92 जेको सेक्शन असांजो CN जो PPC जो act done in good faith for the benefit of person without consent. Nothing is an offence by reasons of any harm which it may be caused to person for whose benefit it is done on good faith, even without that person consent, if the circumstances are such that it is impossible for that person to signify the consent, if that person is incapable of giving the consent, and he has no guardian or other person in lawful charge of him from whom it is possible to obtain consent in time for the thing to be done with the benefits. And हिन जो पहिरियों जेको प्रोविजो आहे असांजो that this exception shall not extend to the intentional causing of death or attempting to cause a death. Secondly, that this exception shall not extend to the doing of anything which the person doing it knowns to be likely to cause a death for any purpose other than the preventing of death or grievous hurt or curing of any grievous disease or infirmity. Thirdly, that this exception shall not extend to the voluntarily causing of hurt or to the attempting to cause a hurt for any purpose other than preventing of death or hurt. Fourthly, that this exception shall not extend to the abatement of any offences to the committing of which offences is would not extend. Illustration: Z is thrown from the horse and insensible. A surgeon find that Z required to treatment. A not intend Z's death, but in good faith for Z's benefit perform the treatment before Z recovers his power of judging for himself. A has committed no offences. A is carried off by a tiger. A fires at the tiger, knowing it to be likely that the shot may kill Z, but not meant to kill Z, and good faith to Z's benefit. A's ball gives Z mortal. A is committed no offences. And इहा जेकी अंडरलाइन पे आहे इहो MCQ अची चुको आहे पहिरियों लार्गेट में हिनखे अंडरलाइन कजो. इन नो ऑफेंसिस. मिसाल तो ए सर्जन सीज अ चाइल्ड सफर इन इंसिडेंट which is likely to prove the fatal unless an operation be immediately performed. There is no time to apply to the child guardian. Perform the operation in spite of the entry of the intent to in good faith child benefits committed no offences. A is in a house which is on fire with their child. People below hold out a blanket, drops the child from the household, and knowing it to be likely that the fall may kill the child but not intend to kill the child, and intending in good faith the child benefit here even if the child is killed by the fall, A has committed no offences.